Ghostbox Part 2. By morning, Walter made up his mind. He wasn't going to wait around for a phone call. He walked straight into the police department just after 8 a.m., clutching a manila envelope with everything he could remember about the CRV: time of entry, time of exit, details from the registration, the dent, the umbrella, the damn air freshener. Ruiz met him in the lobby. "You've been busy," the detective said, eyeing the envelope. "So have you," Walter replied. "You find anything in the glove box?" Ruiz didn't answer right away. That told Walter plenty. "We're working through forensics," Ruiz said. "There was, in fact, a false panel." Something was there. Was? Ruiz sighed. Gone? Clean? No prints, no residue. Like it was never there, Walter felt a chill crawl across his back. "Someone got to it before we did," Ruiz added. "Someone who knew exactly where to look." Ruiz led him into a cramped room with a single monitor. Footage from the grocery store's parking lot played in muted silence. The angle was poor, low-res, off-center, time-stamped in yellow block font, like it hadn't been updated since 1999. Walter leaned in. "There," he said, pointing. "That's when I parked. Row C, far end." I walked in through the east doors. Ruiz nodded. "We've got you walking in." He tapped the keyboard. The screen skipped forward. "And here," Ruiz continued, "is where it gets weird." The screen jumped again. Walter's image never returned. "I walked out 15 minutes later," he said. "Camera didn't catch you." "What do you mean it didn't catch me?" Ruiz rewound. Played it again. Walter watched frame by frame. People entered, people left. Carts rolled, cars came and went. But Walter never appeared. 7 minutes of missing footage, Ruiz said. "Just gone. You show up entering, but not exiting. Same for the CRV." Walter leaned closer, as if squinting would change the facts. "Who else is missing?" he asked. Ruiz looked at him. "I thought you might ask that." He clicked ahead, paused the feed. Zoomed. Another man. Similar build, same jacket, same walk, but not Walter. "Do you know this man?" Ruiz asked. Walter stared at the screen. "No." "You sure?" He hesitated. "I think so." Ruiz tapped his pen on the table. "He got into the same CRV you did, about 4 minutes before you." Walter's stomach dropped. "So, it wasn't there when I got in?" "Different angle. Different side of the lot. Hard to say. But here's what we can confirm. He approached the car, opened it without hesitation, looked around, then walked away." Ruiz stopped the video, like he realized something was off, or like he'd already done what he came to do. Walter exhaled. "The package." Ruiz nodded. "We believe he planted or removed something from the ghost box and then left it there. Maybe as a setup. Maybe as a warning." Walter rubbed his temples. "So, I drove off in a car that had just been tampered with. And whoever that man was, he's still out there." Ruiz leaned forward. "And until we find him, you're still our only lead." Walter left the station with a copy of the footage and more questions than answers. He knew what he needed to do next. He needed to find Lena. Because whatever Ivan had been hiding in that car, someone else already knew about it, and they were making sure Walter took the fall. Walter didn't hear the window break. He found it the next afternoon. It was the side window by the laundry room, the one behind the hedge, hidden from the street. The lock was snapped. The screen was missing, a muddy boot print on the sill. And inside, not chaos. That was the worst part. Whoever it was, they were tidy. Walter moved through the house slowly. Nothing looked ransacked, nothing stolen, at least not obviously. His TV was still there, his safe untouched. The cash in the desk drawer, the cufflinks from his father, the half bottle of bourbon hidden in the cabinet behind the oatmeal, all there. But something was missing. He just didn't know what, not yet. He walked into the den, then stopped cold. His old photo box was open. He hadn't touched it in years, full of old printouts, receipts, letters, memories, stuff from before his wife passed, from before the world turned to digital noise. He sifted through it slowly, letters, pictures, Polaroids, then a gap, one photo missing. It took him a second to remember which one. Then it hit him like a slow-sinking stone. It was a photo of his brother, taken 20 years ago, his brother with Ivan. He sat down hard. That photo had never meant much. A strange day, Walter had visited a flea market. His brother, always the wanderer, had shown up with a new business partner, some guy named Alex. They shared a laugh, posed for the camera. The picture ended up in the box and stayed there. Until now. Walter's thoughts scrambled for footing. Why take that photo? How did anyone even know it existed? He picked up the burner phone Lena gave him. Dialed. No answer. He texted, "Call me. Urgent." The message came 30 minutes later. Not from Lena, but from an unknown number. Just one sentence. Put the dent back. Walter stared at the message. It didn't make sense. Wasn't even a threat, not directly, but the implications were clear. Undo what was done. Pretend it never happened. But it was too late for that. He forwarded the message to Ruiz, then sat by the door. This time the bat wasn't across his lap. This time he had the revolver. Old, cleaned, rarely touched, but real. He didn't know who would come next. Ivan? The man from the footage? Someone else entirely? All Walter knew was this. Whatever had been in that ghost box wasn't just valuable. It was dangerous. And someone out there still believed Walter had it. Walter always read the paper. Yes, an actual paper, folded, inked, and delivered by bicycle like the world still made sense. He liked the smell, the feel, the pause it gave to the day. That morning, it was waiting on his porch, folded once, rubber-banded. But today, it wasn't the front page that caught his eye. It was the envelope tucked inside. Plain white. No stamp, no return address, just his name on the front. Walter Reid. In block letters, all caps, no smudge, no haste. He stared at it a long time before opening it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Heavy stock, typewritten, 3 lines. Your brother knew more than he told you. The ghost box was never just about the car. Ask Delilah about the coin. That name, Delilah. It hit him like cold wind through an open window. Delilah was his brother's ex. The kind of ex you don't talk about at Thanksgiving. The kind that came with long stories and short fuses. The kind who had vanished just before Walter's brother did. Not died, not disappeared, just left. Somewhere warm, last he heard. Arizona, maybe. Texas. They hadn't spoken in almost a decade. Walter sat back in his chair. What coin? And what did it have to do with Ivan? He pulled out the photo again, the one Lena had brought. Ivan and his sister. Ivan and Walter's brother. That smile wasn't casual. It was familiar, comfortable, like people who had worked together, or plotted together, or worse. He turned the envelope over in his hand. Nothing else. No hidden message. No signature. He considered calling Ruiz, but he'd already sent him the burner message last night. No reply yet. This was something else. This was personal. He pulled out an old spiral-bound notepad and started scribbling. Even Alexander, alias, unknown history. CRV dented, Ghostbox inside glove compartment, false registration, package missing, unknown man in footage, my brother connected to Ivan, Delilah, know something? The coin. What coin? Walter had a creeping suspicion it wasn't just any coin. Not loose change, not pocket fluff. He remembered a story. Years ago. His brother bragging over beers about a rare coin he'd stumbled across. Said it was worth a fortune. Said men had died for less. Walter had laughed it off as bar talk, but what if it wasn't? He called directory assistance. No Delilah under her old name. He tried her maiden name, then married name. Finally, a hit. Delilah Bennett, age 63, Mesa, Arizona, landline. He dialed. The line rang. Once, twice, then click. Hello? Walter froze. That voice. Dry, defensive, but it was her. Delilah, a pause. Who is this? It's Walter Reid. Another pause. Then a breath like the phone had gone cold. I wondered how long it would take. The voice on the other end of the line went still. Walter waited. Sometimes silence was the answer. Sometimes it just meant you'd ask the right question. Finally, Delilah spoke. I told him not to get involved, she said. Walter sat straighter. My brother? Yes. Her voice was brittle, like a page pulled from an old book, handled too many times, close to tearing. He wasn't like the others. That's why it got so dangerous. Walter's heart picked up. What was he involved in, Delilah? She exhaled. You already know the name, don't you? Ivan. Of course. Delilah hadn't seen Ivan in 13 years. Not since he showed up in Tucson with a proposal. One job, one delivery, one coin, and a promise it would never trace back to them. But everything Ivan touched left a stain. And Walter's brother, Charlie, he was too trusting, too proud, too tired of scraping by. So he said yes. The coin wasn't just rare, it was lost history, smuggled from Eastern Europe, said to be part of a ceremonial run of uncirculated pieces, gold, engraved, pre-communist, pre-World War II, maybe even stolen from a royal collection. One of a kind, valued in the millions. Charlie hid it, somewhere no one would look, and he never told Ivan where, just in case, but Ivan wasn't patient. He sent people. Not men with guns, Delilah said, not at first. Men with suits, men with paperwork, men who watched and waited. Charlie went quiet. Then he vanished. No funeral, no note, just gone. Delilah had spent the next 2 years hiding. Walter rubbed the bridge of his nose. He remembered Charlie talking about a big thing once, a joke about retiring early, a strange caution in his eyes when he visited Walter's place that last Thanksgiving. I think the car was a storage unit, Delilah said now, a safe on wheels. That coin could have been hidden inside it for years. Ivan was always playing the long game. Walter's throat was dry. So, if the coin was in the glove box, it's not anymore, Delilah finished, and whoever took it, whether they knew what it was or not, they're already a target. A long silence followed. Then Delilah asked, You still in the house on Chestnut Lane? Walter hesitated. Yes. Get out. Walter hung up without saying goodbye. He stood at the window, looking at nothing. So that was it. It hadn't been about the car, or the dent, or the mistaken identity. He'd stepped into a decades-old heist. One small mistake. And now he was holding a ghost's debt. He packed a small duffel bag, cash, burner phone, the photo of his brother, and the revolver. He didn't know where he was going yet, but he knew what he was looking for. The coin. The mind plays tricks under pressure. It tucks away things you don't want. It hides things in plain sight. Walter was beginning to realize his memory had been holding its breath for 20 years. And now? It exhaled. He was halfway to the freeway when he stopped the car, pulled off into the shoulder, put the hazards on. There was a thought, a tiny thread pulling in the back of his mind. The coin, his brother, the visit, that last Thanksgiving. Charlie had stayed over, slept in the guest room, drank a little too much, left early the next morning. Said something about the gravy being better than Mom's, then laughed like he regretted it. But there was something else. That photo. Walter turned the car around. 10 minutes later, he was back in the driveway. House still quiet. Nothing touched. But his pulse was up. He walked straight to the hallway. Third frame on the right. Black and white photo of Charlie and their father at the lake. He stared at it. Took it off the wall. Turned it over. And there it was. Tape. Clean. Too clean. He peeled it back. Inside, tucked between cardboard and wood backing, was a sealed wax envelope. Heavy. Walter pulled it free and stared at it like it might bite. He opened it. Inside, a single coin. Gold. Cold. Ancient. And a note. In Charlie's handwriting. If you're reading this, Walt, I didn't trust myself to keep it safe. I trusted you. I just never told you. I'm sorry. Walter sat down on the floor. Just like that. He was in possession of the very thing Ivan had built an empire trying to find. The phone rang. The burner. Walter answered without a word. Lena's voice came through like static over snow. He knows you have it. Walter didn't ask how she knew. Didn't need to. Then, he's coming, he said. A pause. No, she said. He's already there. Walter turned his head slowly toward the window and saw the silhouette on his porch, motionless, watching, waiting. Walter didn't move, not right away. He stayed crouched by the frame, the coin cold in his palm, the note from Charlie softening at the edges from his grip. The shadow outside the window didn't shift, didn't knock, didn't call his name, just stood there, waiting. He rose slowly, heart steady in the wrong kind of way. That numb, calm people talk about when their car flips or their boat sinks, the moment your body takes over before your fear catches up. Walter pocketed the coin, slipped the revolver into his waistband, and opened the front door. Ivan was there, black coat, same stone face, but something was different. Not in the way he stood, but in the weight behind his eyes. Not fury, not confidence, something closer to desperation. I know you have it, Ivan said. Walter didn't answer. He let the silence stretch just long enough to feel like control. Then he stepped aside. Come in. They sat at the kitchen table again. Same place as before, same chair, same lighting. This time, Walter didn't offer coffee. This time, Ivan spoke first. Do you know what it is? Walter nodded. Enough? It's not just a coin. It's proof. It ties men with money to things they promised never happened. It's not the gold that matters. It's the engraving. Dates, initials, secrets etched in metal. Secrets that survived when men didn't. Walter said nothing. Ivan leaned forward. There's a buyer. There's always a buyer. But now there's also heat. Your police, your detective. They've stirred the dust. This whole operation is compromised. Walter folded his hands. You want the coin? Ivan nodded. I want peace. That hung in the air. Not a lie, but not the whole truth. Walter pulled the coin from his pocket, set it down on the table center between them. Its weight made a soft thunk, felt heavier than gold. Then take it, he said. Ivan stared at it, didn't reach for it. Too easy, he murmured. Walter raised an eyebrow. You think I'd play you? Ivan looked up. I think everyone plays everyone eventually. He reached forward, picked up the coin, held it between two fingers, examining the face. His expression didn't change, but something in him settled. Then he slid a folded piece of paper across the table. Coordinates. You'll find your brother there, Walter's throat caught. You're lying. Ivan stood. I've never lied, he said. Just rearrange the truth. And with that, he turned and walked out. As no gunfire, no threats, just an open door, and a coin-shaped hole in the story that had haunted 3 lives for 2 decades. Walter sat there long after the door closed, staring at the coordinates. They pointed to a place he hadn't been since he was a boy. Big Fork Creek, the cabin. A new adventure begins as he sets out to look for his brother. If you have a story you would like to share, reach out in the comments below.
Stay tuned for the rest of the story, tracking the missing